Hey, what's up, everybody, man? Welcome to Knowledge and Relationships Toxic Tuesdays. This is your boy M3 and the Sophisticated Jerk. If y'all wondering where our boy stand, man, he is on his whole his wholecation right now, man. Meaning that, hey, well, you already know what that means, but he's in living his life, man. That's a single guy and enjoying it to the full.
You said staying out there on the whole phase, man. What they call that? What the females be saying, man? Journey of self love and shit.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's definitely loving himself right now, man, and his vacation time. So, and I don't blame him. So, shout out to good old Stan, man. If you watching, man, hey, salute to you, brother, man. We can't wait until you come home, man.
Fuck Stan. No, I'm playing.
Shout out to all the people that's tuning in on Knowledge Relationships on YouTube. Um, what's that platform called? Twitch, and also on Instagram. So if you guys are watch us on all those platforms, it's also best to come to our platform on YouTube, so that way you can get the likes up and get the algorithm going. But anyways, though, we definitely have a good show that we're going to react to, and the title of this is pretty much Melyssa Ford still being single at 48. The wine, the old box, and the cats that what people be talking about.
This shit right here is a cautionary tale. Yeah, y'all don't end up like this. You might be thinking in your head, you in your like 20s and 30s. Like, man, I got a little bit more time. I gotta see. You might have a good dude. He might be a solid 7.5, but it's just that urge to be like, you know what? Let me see if I can level up and do better. It's just that urge to keep going.
Right.
Before you know it, you blink, man. You in your 40s and stuff, and you getting ghosted. Talk about where all the good guys out. The next thing you know, you in Queen Maker's arms. talk about I hate guys.
Oh man. I always have a joke about this, but unfortunately I can't say it on YouTube, right? But anyway.
Next thing you know, you hugged up with Queen Maker. Talk about I hate these dudes. These dudes ain't shit.
Right. But before we continue, right, I gotta go with the sound effects, right? I know. Look. Matter of fact, when the raindrops fall from the sky, look, you already know the program. She stole my thunder. I'm sorry, I don't have the sound effects with me, right? I've been absolutely lazy, but I hold myself accountable. Okay, we're just gonna pretend we're gonna go with that. All right. But she says, "Hello, everyone. I am here in ghost form. I'll be haunting your local bushes. Don't mind me." Okay. Salutes to She Stole My Thunder. And salutes to Ruthless Truth, man.
What's
Salutes.
good, Ruthless?
Yeah. And she said, Ruthless, hello. Oh, let me make this clear, right? Before we go on, we always do things in act of fair use for the content. So I'm just going to just flash this real quick. So we don't get no like Jubilee type of copyright. So y'all can read that for yourselves. I'm not going to be doing the reading because, bro, be tired after you be reading all day. And also too, I want you guys and ladies to keep in mind that where's the banner at? That what we oh, there it is. Please be advised, right, that what we discuss is not political, clinical, financial, medical, nor legal advice. What we're going to be talking about, this is for information and entertainment purposes only. And also, I just want to put this out there, right? M3 loves women, okay? I love them so much, I'll be willing to marry y'all. So please do not put me in a category.
What? No, don't. We cool with the love shit, but the marriage, I don't know, man. How much money they got? That's what we got. We got to start a breakdown player.
Right. Just know we do joke a lot. So please don't take us literally if this is like your first time watching us, because we know people are sensitive now these days. But also, please be advised that the opinions of the panelists, the guests, the chat, especially ruthless truth. It's not the necessarily the viewpoints of knowledge and relationship. So please, please, whatever that he about to say or somebody else about to say that comes up in the platform, please know that this does not reflect on us. But anyway, she says knowledge and relationships, makeshift sound effects are all good. Too much laziness on the end. No worries. And then she says, she says, what's this about? Marriage? M3, please don't tempt me. I'm a devout follower of singleness. But long story short, I am single. She stole my thunder. I'm just putting that out there. So,
are you for the streets?
Look, man, your boy. Look, your boy is for the sanctuary. Okay. That's the line you gotta tell like these women all these things. But no, I ain't never been for the streets though. But it's all good. I'm just messing with y'all. But anyways, y'all, we gotta get to the topic, man. We don't want to hold you guys up and waste any time. So let's go ahead and we're gonna react to this podcast that's called Hot and Bothered, featuring Melyssa Ford. So let's go ahead. We're going to play this in all fair use.
Everybody, welcome to another episode of Hot and Bothered with Melyssa Ford. Thank you so much for joining me. Whether you are commuting to or from work, or you've already gotten home and you are chilling with a glass of wine, or you're settling into your nighttime routine, I want you guys to just settle in and chill out with me because we're going to have a heart-to-heart like we've never had before. So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to pour myself a glass of wine. This is the good stuff. Now consider this episode
hit
a
pause
safe
real quick.
space. I really want to have a heart-to-heart about...
I know she ain't trying to do a commercial with that cheap ass wine. That shit like Boone's Farm. Mad Dog 2020. Talk about get you some wine. Y'all better not drink this cheap shit. Yeah, I just wanted to stop it right there. I saw that. I was like, man, look at this plug, man. But she do got to fire a little I'll say studio where she at. So man, she taking it. She's doing her podcast pretty I say it's serious, man, because yeah, she put some money into that. But yeah, the wine, man, we gotta upgrade that, man.
Oh, so the podcast belongs to Melyssa Ford.
Yeah, I think this is hers, where she be going on these rants about her life and all that. Okay. But I mean, you remember she was on that other one we did.
With
I know she on Joe Budden's, but that Listen to Black Women.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So she making her rounds. She like shit. I'm trying to get this paper. But shout out to her. And what's that? Daewoo? Whatever type of wine. That shit come with a black and mild and shit.
You're right.
We go back to the video. Yeah, I was like, man, what the fuck is that? Daewoo?
Yeah. Hey, you never know though. You take a sip of that, man. You might be hooked on that Daewoo.
Man, so I'm gonna try it out because I do want to test it. I'm gonna let y'all know, man. But yeah, that's that type of wine that come with like one Tim, a blunt, eviction notice. But we get back to the.
All right, let's go.
Certain lifestyle choices that I've made. We've all seen the most recent political climate as it relates to the election. And it seems like women, we always seem to be the brunt of some kind of attack. And I don't really understand why. But when J.D. Vance said this.
Saying is that we're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made. And so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. And it's just a basic fact. You look at Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by people without children. And how does it make any sense that we've turned our country over to people who don't really have a direct stake in it?
At first I was offended. And then when I thought about it, I really just had to laugh because never been married, childless cat ladies. Honestly, that sounds like a dream come true to me. I don't know, like solitude, my own choices, and animals that love me. Oh my God, somebody, call the cops. This sounds awful. But anyways, I know that I'm not the only one that felt that their life choices were put under attack. So this episode is called I Am 48, I Am Child Free, and I've never been married. And guess what? That's okay. I never made it down the aisle, but
Hit
I
the pause
have been
button.
engaged in the past.
Yeah, sure.
How many engagements? I would say 2.4.
She took that like long, she had that sinister stare, man. I don't know if you caught that. Like, she's like, I can't believe I'm about to lie to these motherfuckers and say I'm all right. Yeah, that was a gulp. Like but I did. One thing I could say about, I say people that don't have kids, man, I do give them some credit for, you know, like with her, it's like in other ambitious people that might be more career focused. And I think people give them a lot of hell sometimes, be like, look, they ain't got no kids, they're self-centered and all this. And I think the hate sometimes are some of the, you know, bad comments that come towards some people. I think it's unwarranted sometimes because, man, they're not out here making a mess, you know, creating kids all out of wedlock, you know, by multiple people and, you know, putting the kid last. So I do give a little bit of credit to people that don't have no kids, because it's just like, hey, if you are somewhat like self-centered and focused on your career, I don't think that's the best for raising a child. So, you know, that's one thing I could give her on that, where it's just like, hey, you know, at least she ain't, you know, spitting out kids and all that stuff. Like a ruthless boy, Cam Newton, that fucking degenerate.
You did do a show on him, right? Like not too long ago from your
yeah, I did a couple of them, and yeah, I think sometimes, man, it's just people. It's just like they get in their mind where it's just like, I gotta have this set number of kids, I gotta do it like this, and then it's just like, man, they put everybody, you know, like the children last, because it's like they still want to go out, hang out, they still want to, you know, chase the career. So it's just like, man, the kids fall. So that's what I'm saying. I'm just like, I could give a little bit of credit to like people that's like, hey, look, I'm not ready to raise no kid. It's about me, and they don't cross that line. It's just like, man, we do got to give them some props on that.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Let's go ahead. We're gonna continue the video. We'll drop the link like in a couple of minutes. We want to make sure that we cover as much of the video as possible, so we don't want to get sidetracked, you know.
5. Let's start with the 0.5, since that was the first one. I was involved with a man who loved
Hold
me.
on, did she say 0.5?
He was good looking. He was
Something like
tall.
Go back just a little bit, because I think she's going over. She said 0.5. What's my man, a midget?
I was involved with a man who loved me. He was good looking.
No, but she was talking about it like right before she just.
Everybody loved him. But there was something inside of me that just said, this is not perfect. It's the furthest thing from perfect. He would say things like, nobody's ever going to love you the way that I love you. And I believed him. I wrestled with this internal sense of guilt. I wrestled with the guilt of honestly wanting to be free, honestly wanting to live my life and to date and to experience other men and to experience other things and other places. I just wanted to live my life. I had moved, things happened.
I feel like people over exaggerate, talking about, yeah, well, I left like this town, and you know, I came with $5 here with 25. So were you homeless? Like how did you recuperate yourself with $25 to spare? Because in California, if you coming from like Texas, you going to California with $25 to spare, you better call your parents and tell them to give you a flight back home.
Yeah, they hitting them strip clubs. If you go in there with empty pockets, you know how that story ends up. Either you go to like Miami, Vegas, or I'll say like LA. you winding up in one of them spots. But she kind of said a lot though, man. Like I think that Daewoo, that wine, whatever, it got her telling some whole shit out here. Cause first, I don't know how you get 2.5. Like, I don't know how that mathematics works out. Like, but it's understandable, man. She was young, but she definitely wanted to play them streets. So she touched it up pretty nice. She was like, well, I wanted to date, experience other guys, and she was like, okay, I want to play that block. So I like the terminology she was using. But yeah, that wine got her kind of confessing a little too much. but shout out to her telling the story and stuff. But yeah, I didn't catch how she got that 2.5. She got to elaborate on that one.
I know,
Is she
man.
saying because it's just early in her life, like she was young, and so that's why she's only giving it a 0.5? That's weird.
2.5, because she was saying like 2.5 people engaged to her, right?
Yeah, that engagements.
Shit, I guess that 0.5, man. To me, it sounded like either it was like a not a man's man. You know what I mean?
You say? Okay.
Yeah. So it could be something like that. Hey guys, make sure y'all guys get the likes up too, man, while y'all watching this. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get back to the video. Yeah, I just wanted to.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and we're gonna play it.
For myself at a very, very rapid pace. And so to find myself inside of a relationship that felt so stifling at this very young age and not having the vocabulary to speak up for myself and articulate that somebody who loves you would not say those things to you. They wouldn't say that nobody will ever love you the way that I love you, because that indicates that there's a part of me that's broken or there's a part of me that's unlovable. But I didn't know how to articulate this. So I stayed in this relationship that I was wildly unhappy in for approximately 3.5 years.
I'm going
close to 4.
Really quick, 3.5 years, close to 4. Shout outs to like the 14 people that was popping in to watch our channel. Please make sure you guys get the likes up and share the video to anybody that you feel that will want to watch this part, because it helps build the algorithm. Want to watch, definitely salutes to you. So I know she's going over that part where the guy is saying that nobody else will love you but me. But do you think that was like malicious, or do you think that maybe he was just trying to show her, hey, I love you so much. My love cannot be comprehensive or comparable to the love that other people will give. My love is not mediocre love. Do you think that probably was like the attempt for that?
Man, I think it, from how she's kind of explaining the story, she just didn't want to be with the dude. So it's almost like she was like looking for anything to move on at that point. Because I mean, if somebody's willing to marry you, and if they willing to go down that path, and one of the things like I say for most men, if you take marriage serious, man, you're willing to like lay down your life for somebody. So if he's making a statement like, hey, nobody will ever love you like I do, and he proposed, well, goddamn it, that's what he's supposed to have probably the most love out of anybody else. Who the fuck else? The mailman's gonna have like that much love for you. So like that's what I'm saying. She's almost like hyping herself up to make it where it's like a bad statement that he said that. It's like, man, nah, let's talk about it. Like marriage, it's like, man, you're supposed to become one with a person, and we know what even the risk that comes with that, the risk implications. So it's like if somebody made that statement like that, then I don't understand how that would be a negative thing. But it just sounds with her, she was just young and she wanted different experiences. So probably when he said that, it's not a bad statement, but she was probably like, oh shit, this is getting real. Like this cat actually loves me, and I gotta hit this exit button because you know what, them streets is calling. So yeah, that's what I think it mainly is. I don't think there was no malice in the statement or nothing like that.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. Let's go ahead with the video. Oh, okay, let me go back to YouTube. Sorry to play it. So, okay. So now that makes sense with the 0.5 stuff. Basically, she just went back for
So pretty much she gave homie a 0.5 because he cheated on him and shit. is that how her rating system goes? like hey, since I cheated, I'm gonna give it a 0.5. God damn it. I was already halfway out before he proposed. So
I think like with the 0.5, because basically, okay, it was the first dude, and I guess with him, and then with that 0.5 is like, okay, let me reconcile by maybe like, give him some like, what I mean, some lollipop or whatever, right? She pretty much like just licked him like a Tootsie Pop is what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? And then she probably went back on her way again.
well, she probably don't count it because she beat him to the punch, like pretty much called it off before it happened and dipped out. So that's probably why, since he didn't actually go through with the full act, she's just like, okay, 0.5. And I do give her credit for not embarrassing him up front, but she kind of slid over the whole I cheated on him part, which was like, you kind of got some partial morality. Like you should have, before you even put yourself in those situations, it's like, man, just break up with somebody. If you knew you already wanted to be out, you ain't had to do all that. And, then on top of that, you're speaking about it now. So it's just like, man, that person's got to relive that stuff. Like, damn, man, she was a shit. But I like I said, I do give her credit that she didn't allow him to go with that whole public event, because that would have been embarrassing. She would have shot him down in front of everybody. So, but yeah.
Okay.
All right, we get back to the video. Yeah.
For sure.
The picture.
Man, I hate when people say that they've got no choices and they just lay out a whole story where they had like 100 damn choices that they made. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's all right to be like, look, man, I didn't like the choices that I had in front of me at the time, or, I don't like how, things are structured. But it's like, man, you got a lot of choices. You getting back on that goddamn plane and leaving homeboy high or dry was definitely a choice. So it's just, and I just think people are prone to be unhappy regardless what they do. And I think that's the issue, because it's just, like she pointed out all the different people. Like, hey, there was people that was in this type of relationship, and it's all facts. There's people that have like a happy relationships, bad for convenience and stuff like that. But typically it's like, you only hear the tail end of the story. I don't care if it's like men and female, but it's just like, you don't see they don't tell you the part of the story where they ignored all the red flags. Probably like 10 people was like, yo, don't go down this path, don't do this, so a lot of people ain't gonna, you don't see that. It's like that one picture, I forgot who posted it on their community tab, and it was like a iceberg. It was like everybody sees the tip of the iceberg, but you don't see all the shit below where it's like all the stuff that's going on. So yeah, I think that's the issue with a lot of people, where selecting the wrong people, and then it's just like, well, let's blame it on the boxes. It's like, man, ain't no goddamn box.
Kwanzaa says, where's the lie? But she also says there are boxes so-called society has set that we're supposed to live by, and it is pressure.
Yeah, but I think a lot of times we put our own pressure on stuff because we all go against the grain whenever it's convenient for us. But then, I think on the flip side, when things don't go our way, then that's when we go to the society thing. So it's just like, man, people know when to buck the system and not listen and be rebellious. But on the flip side, it's like, man, why do we even care? Because it's like, man, you could do what you kind of want, and most people do,
Yeah.
But I do understand the pressure part. I do see people putting pressure, but like I said, it typically comes from all angles, because it's like, even if you have the kids and stuff, you get pressured from that angle. You don't have the kids, you get pressured. So at a certain point, you just got to tone it out. Like, look, man, there's somebody gonna pressure you for some reason, but you just can't fixate on it. You got to look at your own life and be like, man, whatever makes sense and what I need to take on, this is how I'm just gonna execute.
Most of my pressures was encountering like religious people, or just like really strong, well, I guess maybe strong-minded Christians, or strong or more devoted type of Christians. For whatever reason, I run into a lot of those. And they're good companion partners, they're good for talking and stuff, but we have our moments where it's like what they expect for me to know more or know a certain part of the Bible, or it's like me reading like the New Testament or remember certain scriptures, but I don't remember stuff from the Old Testament. So they get shocked about it. And they're like, you don't know your scriptures? I'm like, no, like this Bible is very thick. It's like thousands of years old. And if you read it over and over, it's always gonna feel like something is new. But for me, my mind, like I don't retain a lot of like information all that well, anyways, when it comes to reading the Bible and other things. If I can't visually see it, it's not gonna stick to my mind.
I do like the comments like Dr. Quantum made, because I do think it takes a strong mind. Eventually, you got to tone stuff out. Because like me and my wife, we had one kid, and everybody was like, "Oh, why are you only having one kid? Why are you doing this?" I was like, "Man, are y'all gonna pay my damn bills, man? You ain't. Man, how about y'all shut the hell up?" So it's just like, man, eventually, yeah, you just got to block it out. But even with the boxes though, because I was thinking when she like had them outlined. Because I get what she was saying. Like there are like a lot of relationships, like she was saying, like you have the sexless ones, people that are miserable and all that. But also on the flip side, you will see some people that say they don't have kids and stuff, and they're when they start getting later in life, they might have those type of regrets. So that's why I'm saying I think at some point everybody's gonna have some regret when they looking back at life, like, damn, maybe I was a little too ambitious, or maybe shit, I had too many damn kids. I would have liked to chill a little bit more. Maybe I should have been a little bit more ambitious. I just think it's natural human state. So that's why I think sometimes we make it more of like a society pressure thing when it's really just like human nature, where you're just gonna sit back and be like, damn, I wish I would have done this a little different. I wish I would have done this and this. So that's where I think it mainly is. Just our own mental selves beating ourselves up.
Right. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to continue. And she says, that is very true. And Watt says, maybe I did. Please. Oh, damn. Y'all funny, man. Salute to you guys, man. Thank you guys for supporting us. As always, like in the YouTube and, just thank us for always, man, supporting knowledge and relationships, y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Well, just one more thing before you started too, because like, even though she's, like I said, I give her credit for not having any kids, anybody, because like I think y'all do catch a lot of flack when you don't have no kids. People are like, hey, what's wrong with? I'm like, man, they ain't out here destroying shit. So let them be to a certain thing. But I do give her a little bit of pushback, because I have seen her on panels like, where's all the good guys and where's all this? So it's just like, man, you can't make bad decisions. AKA, you said the first guy was a good guy, had his shit together, loved you more than anything. But then you kind of pass on that guy. That was probably one of the guys that would have held you down, and he probably honestly pedestalized her at that point. So that's why I have the issue with people. It's like, hey, okay, you made your decisions. If it don't work out, then don't bash the other side, whether it's a man or a female. But like, oh, there's no good women out here. It's like, man, well, if you have some good ones, you fucked it up. That's kind of your own self fault at that point. So yeah, that's where she's got to get the smoke at.
Definitely. All right, let's go.
Those baby blue Tiffany boxes just laid on the pillow right next to me. We could go to my favorite store, and as long as I put on a little fashion show for him, everything I wanted I could get. But when I say that the gifts really mattered nothing to me, it was this man. He was the gift to me. That's just a fact. And we were 6 months into our relationship when the first sign of trouble appeared.
I even go. Oh my gosh!
Hey, she was capping heavy on them gifts. Talk about that; those ain't matter. I guarantee my man would have stopped that shit and be like, you know what, man, we just gotta keep it simple, low overhead. Hey, we got our love, no more gifts. She'd be like, what? And she would have flipped out. What's good, Ruthless?
Bad hombre.
What's good?
What up, Ruthless? All right, man. So,
what's your take so far, Ruthless?
this is the problem of women. Because they give up so much, or they overthink a lot of things, right? They don't realize that they're the problem, right? Because the center divider is the guy who gave her, oh, I love you. No one can love you like I can love you, right? So he was following the lines of Jodeci,
blame 90s R&B and shit.
Or even further than that, even the OJs, right?
You taking it to the 80s, the Tevin Campbell era.
Right. He was. That's what he was obviously formatting, right? That was trying to put that on someone who doesn't want to be catered to like that, right? Is frivolous, right? It's just a waste of time. But men still try. Because remember, she said one thing. She said her mama loved him, her sister loved him, all these people loved him, right?
Except for her.
Because she thought something was wrong with him being this good guy. Because like I told y'all the earlier streams, the way from a lens of men, what we consider a good man, right? Okay. It's not the same lens women view good men.
What's that lens? What's her lens?
Her lens is first of all, you have to be a good earner. You have to obviously you have great aesthetics, and you got to make her chase you. You got to make her want you. You can't give her what she wants. So that's her lens is someone who's unattainable that she may obtain. That's the good man.
Ruthless, let me ask you a question. You think it probably went wrong with the first guy because sounded like they was young, and typically, man, if you were a dude in your early 20s, you ain't making a lot of money at that point. So you think there was a financial component why she was probably like, nah, I gotta move on from this shit. We out here, this is struggle love.
It was her ego, right? I could do better. I'm a bad bitch. All that, it was taken in consideration that I deserve better, right? That was her lens, right? She was like, oh, I deserve better. He's not
on magazines man. Though.
Right. Because we really don't know his financial situation, right? He could have been born into money, right? He could have had some sort of resources. She obviously he did for him to get that big wedding ring and talking about he was out of town, right? So he had something. That ring wasn't cheap. So I don't think finances was the problem. The problem was her, right? She was in love with an invisible man that doesn't exist.
Okay.
And also, what she loves more than the invisible man, or the man invisible, herself. It was all about her. She made it all about her within herself, meaning there was nothing he could do to please her. All the money he could spend on her, all the good words. He didn't leave with his wallet. He did everything right. All his family, the family loved him. He fit the mold perfectly. That's why it lasted 3 years. But the whole time she hated him. She hated that he was that way. So
all right, let's get to the part where she about to break down the second one. Because I agree with you somewhat. Typically you be off base, man. You be saying some crazy shit, Ruthless, but you on point tonight, man.
Yeah, I was looking for someone to disagree on you, but at this point,
you're pretty solid tonight, man. Shout out to Ruthless.
Yeah. We're gonna get to what happened though, Quantum. So she was about to tell y'all why it fell apart. We've seen this a billion times. All right, let's go ahead and play it because y'all want us to play the video, so I got y'all.
Yeah, okay, they hit the.
That's what you said. Check yourself.
So based on this story right here, man, yeah, that's crazy. If she called dude up like that, my man must have been roid raging. He must have been doing some curls. Like, what the fuck are you calling me during my set? That cat was tapping the veins and shit. Like, what do you want? Yeah, she should have left that dude. Yeah.
I noticed that she got the domestic violence, hotline number up there as well too. So who knows,
yeah, she should have been out on that one. That was the red flag, but. That's the sad thing. I think sometimes where, people overlook that good person, man. It's almost like when I be hearing people tell stories, sometimes it's almost like they get the extreme on that side.
So what was she tripping on? Because he said that. What was said to her that made him say what he said?
Well, she was like, when she would say, hey, I guess when she had the situation, she called him up for some comfort, was like, can you tell me I'm beautiful and all that stuff? And my man just flipped out.
She's not telling the whole story, bruh. Trust me. I know black women. She's not telling the whole story. It was more to it than him just coming out and saying that.
Man,
So you saying he tripped out because she called home saying, tell her she's beautiful and that she loved her to what? Nullify what? That somebody told her she was ugly?
Well,
yeah, I wish she would have gave the comment that the person said. But I mean, even if you're
It's
irritated,
not how it happened. I'm telling you, that whole weekend, she probably was throwing in his face who she was around. Trust me, I know black women. We all do. You all know she's not telling the whole story.
but I'm just saying, even if it say like she was throwing stuff in your face, man, I'm just not gonna be talking to you and I'm gonna keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna snap out like that. I'll be like, hey man, look, we done whatever, and I'm gonna keep it moving. But to get out of character and stuff like that, yeah, that's a little wild.
Watch this.
But I do see what y'all saying. He might have been irritated by some shit, but yeah, just to flip off the hinges and shit. Yeah,
I feel like it was something that she's not really adding context to, but Watts' premise fill in the blanks. He's saying sounds like, you know, how I as in she, right? Accident fell on something like DIC, and you know she needs to know if the guy still loves her and tell her that she's pretty. So it that type of conversation, because for someone to blow up, I felt like she didn't add that part of detail where maybe she was pretty much unfaithful towards him. Come on, like you're in the BET and you're at some type of awards.
I mean, he ain't gonna pick that up from the phone call. That's what I'm saying. So I mean, I could see if he was irritated, maybe she's there, like, man, she probably wilding out. But yeah, just I mean, I would.
in this case,
like I said,
you come from
black women.
Wait, hold on for a second. But in this case, you come from, again, this reminds me of one of my other female friends, right? And this is no disrespect to most of them, right? And no, they're not black women or whatever, right? Latino. But the point is that you came from a good dude, right? A dude that was actually treating you right. And then you immerse yourself with someone, right, who pretty much, like, personally, I want to really be able to stomach and stand. So you make these choices on your own will because you're not satisfied with the first guy who was trying to give you the best. Because maybe he didn't look like a certain type of caliber that you wanted, or he didn't make you feel wet enough for you to want to be with him. But now you're with somebody, right, who's like royal crazy or whatever. So that's what I'm just saying.
Well, because when she was describing him in the beginning, you know, it was like looks based. She was like, man, he was huge and all this stuff. So that's why I'm saying she went for just like attraction. So it's almost like she, you know, typically when a guy's like gawking over her, pedestalizing her, she was almost in a position now where she was pedestalizing dudes. So that's probably why he was like, you know, he thought he was the shit too. So he was barking off. Oh,
Let me step in for 1 second. Let's just use some logic here. Mm-hmm. What are the chances that this brother went from spoiling her with Tiffany, which isn't cheap, to just out of the blue saying, I think I want to be with a bitch that's so weak that she would be blah, 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 blah. Don't you all see the huge effing gap between those two things occurring? He's not telling the whole story. So it doesn't even make logical sense.
Also,
you mean to tell me that this brother went from spoiling her with Tiffany to cursing her out and calling her a bitch?
So also she had
that doesn't even make logical sense.
She said, and remember that she cheated on her last guy, right? She said she cheated on the other guy. So we can say that because of the job she has, right? She has access to desirable, athletes, rappers, probably, and you know what I mean. So obviously something happened, and she felt she needed to be honest about it. And his insecurity got messed up. You know what I mean? He flipped out.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's just too big of a gap. How are you going to go from spoiling a woman with Tiffany to cursing her out? You see how it doesn't follow? She didn't say anything that to indicate that this guy was good. There was no pattern. Tiffany, you think I would want to be with a bitch that week? You see how it doesn't follow? It doesn't even make logical sense.
And also, we can also last thing, we can also understand that women typically, especially like in divorces or when things are they're wrong about, or they leave their part out of it, right? And try to make themselves look good for everybody, right? So she basically told us something which probably lived out the part that would have convicted her, right? To make him look bad. That's what women do.
Exactly. That's what happened.
Oh, he just hung up the phone and said, "Fuck you, bitch."
Yeah, I think homeboy was roid raging out there, man. I think he was doing curls with him, and he got upset.
But we don't know, though, right? Remember, there's two sides to every story.
Okay, well, let me try to explain it again. She said herself that he was spoiling her with Tiffany. Everything she wanted in a man, he possessed. And then at the one time that she was at her most vulnerable, he flipped out on her.
Hold on, Quantum got a good point. He was like, why he sent that flower arrangement to apologize, or what did he say something?
He said that
yeah.
Why did he apologize? I mean, he was dead wrong as far as like the way how he screamed and whatever cursed at her.
I mean, y'all are right. This is a weird story.
Yeah, but we have to acknowledge that there are some pieces to the story that she don't want to admit of why that he became upset and started raging out like that. You know, two wrongs don't make it right, but let's just be honest.
But she forgave him. And she forgave him. She said, "I'm gonna forgive you." Meaning she knew she was wrong.
Yeah, let's play the video because I want to. I see they put the domestic violence hotline up, so I think she's gonna get to some details.
Right. But again, everybody, right? Look, I'm gonna put this banner one more time, right, for YouTube and for you guys' sakes, right? That look, please be advised that what we discuss is not political, clinical, financial, medical, nor legal advice. Okay, this is for information and entertainment purposes. I want to know the deets, and we're going to have fun and we'll have some entertainment. But also, too, please be advised that people on here that comes up, the guests that comes up on here, you know, the opinions of the panelist guests in chat are not necessarily the viewpoints of knowledge and relationships. And of course, I do not condone any violence or any harm towards women, men, or any sort of groups. So I just want to put that out there. Spaghetti-o.
Good, Big Rig.
What a way to say that, right?
Hey, Great Pill, did you try that wine that she's sipping on? Let us know how that tastes, Great Pill.
That again, SJ, that Dao or something?
That Dao or something, yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, let's go ahead. We're gonna play it.
Tips and why do you stay? The reasons are aplenty, but I will start by saying that is not the way that it begins. It begins with love bombing. It begins with flowers, candy, gifts, and the wonderful sex and the cuddles and the pillow talk. And this is how it begins. And it can last for a lengthy amount of time before that person really shows up. The true version of themselves shows up. And by that point, you start to bargain with yourself. And they start to apologize. And their apologies are usually very, very sincere. Because at the end of the day, I truly believe that they believe their apologies are real. They just have an illness inside of them. And I would also venture to say that the first signs of abuse are usually not physical. And by the time it gets to physicality, you start to reason that you were an active participant in it. You start to reason with yourself that you started the fight by angering him or saying something that was out of pocket. Or you reason with yourself that you are no shrinking violet. So it's not like you got hit and cowered in a corner. You fought back. These are the things that you reason and bargain with yourself that allow you to stay in this level of toxic relationship. And so, as much as I would love to say that that was the last time that he spoke to me in that way, and that was the last time that I received it, that would not be the truth. We were together for another 1.5 years, and I accepted his marriage proposal. And a lot of you would probably be asking, why would you do that? Why would you accept the marriage proposal of this man that was so abusive towards you and unfaithful towards you and really bad at it? Like, I found out everything all the time, and I don't really have an excuse for it other than I was addicted to him. I was working at BET at the time when we were dating, and more than once observations were made about bruises on my body and how skinny I was getting, obviously from stress. And people had voiced concern for me, but I just shooed them away. We tussle. It's fine. No problem. But there really was a reason for concern. I stayed through it all and accepted the marriage proposal. The final straw for me was his reaction to finding out that my mom was ill. I had gotten a phone call while I was out with him and his family, and he was acting up as per usual. And I got a phone call from my aunt telling me that my mom had been rushed to the hospital. I was in Texas. So in order for me to rush home to see my mom, I would have to leave Texas, go home to New York, pick up my passport, and then go to Canada. And when I told him what was going on, obviously I was looking for empathy and sympathy and compassion, and that was not what I got. It was on this day that I finally could see the forest for the trees. If I stayed in this relationship, in 10 years, I would have that white picket fence, and I would have the 2 kids, and I would be an abused woman, hiding her bruises and her broken bones and her scars from her family and her friends and society at large, because I was a forward-facing media personality / model. My mom's sickness was, strangely enough, a blessing in disguise. And that relationship came to an end. And that was the first full engagement. So 1.5. So that's where we are right now. Any advice for any beautiful woman out there?
Let me pause this real quick.
She's a casserole.
And again, I'm going to just say this, right? But I'm going to say this specifically in relating to the topic. Any dude, right, that puts his hands on a woman is not a real man. It's a sucker, point blank, period. And if you have so much aggression that you want to like take your anger out on a weaker partner, not to diss you guys or whatever in any type of way, but a man that has more physical strength than a woman and you're hitting her like a man, why don't you take all that frustration, go take some boxing classes? Or if you really want to fight, Go
that nigga don't need to take no boxing classes.
Huh?
Shit, that cat need to chill out. Go do some Bible studies. Go, donate some time to some animals or something. We don't need to be fighting shit. Damn that.
Well, he didn't get his release off of somewhere though. But definitely don't ever put your hands on a woman like that.
No, I agree with you, man. Yeah, and that's what I was saying when she made that statement. Like you guys were there's some missing gaps, but if you can't keep your composure, because I just think, man, just say even if somebody was pushing your buttons and stuff like that, I'm one of them type of dudes. Like, man, if you see yourself like elevating where you're getting angry, just leave the relationship. It's just that simple, man. Like, because like what M3 saying, it's like, man, you never put your hands on somebody. So yeah, I don't agree with that at all.
So here's I'm gonna add a little spark to it, right? Once again, right? Maybe that's what she wanted, right? And then the only reason she left him was because of lack of empathy or sympathy because of her mom's whatever illness. That was what she didn't like. Everything else that they went through, as far as the physical, whatever it was, she accepted a marriage proposal. She's like, I love him. So we don't really know the ins and out of it. Was he? And I'm not saying why or why not, but we do know this: that for those things she named, she didn't leave him for. She was specific and said, I love him because I told him about my mom's illness. Now, obviously, he really didn't care too much about her mom, right? He's like, well, whatever. And that was the one thing that tilted the bottle. Said, okay, I'm out. But other than that, all the things leading up to that, she still wanted to marry this man. She still wanted to be this man. And we don't know if she hit him first and he hit her back. We don't know, right? We don't know the full story. But we do know this. She loved the toxicity, right? Because once he yelled at her, he hung the phone up, sent the roses. She took it back. Then another year and a half, she got to talk about these physical things happened. And she said, I still married him, meaning I still wanted him. And I loved him for who he was until he did the one thing that I couldn't accept was him not sharing the sympathy for my mom and her illness, whatever, the empathy. So we have here a woman who had a good man who, said, I love, no one can love you like I can love you, right? He can't love you like I love, right? He had all that, right? She had all the great things. Then she said, I'm out. 3 years, I was miserable, right? Then she finally found a guy who was attractive and toxic and physical, put her in check, called her B words. You ain't nothing. This is the man I've been looking for. Remember, the first man, she felt the ring, and she said, I'm packing my shit. I'm heading for the hills. I don't want to marry a man who's going to give me all this affection. Who's going to give me all this attention. Who's going to give me all these great things. Even my mom and them love him. My whole family love him. Oh, hell no. But the man that she said abused her, did all these physical things to her, will you marry me? Yes, baby, till the end of time. Until the end of time. And then he did the one thing. And the one thing, it wasn't the abuse why she left him, because she clearly said that. She left him because he didn't care or show care for her mom. So she's told you everything before your very face. The abuse stuff, I was cool with that because the other guy I didn't like, this is the guy I wanted. He was what I wanted. He was what I wanted. With all that, the way he was, this is what I was in love with. The guy who's going to put me in check, put his hands on me. I needed that. That's what I
don't think she the abuse shit. I just, like you said, I think sometimes people get so deep with the attraction and materialism that's why they stick around.
But she had a guy that had everything for her though. He didn't do none of that. He was totally polar opposite, right?
Yeah. No,
and she fucking, when she was cleaning, she found the ring. It was business, so he had money, and she headed for the hills. So she's telling you she didn't want that man. That's not what she was attracted to. She was attracted to toxicity, Because she's toxic. Don't you get it?
So. Yeah, no, she definitely there's definitely some issues. But so the first guy, what was it, 3 years? She was with that guy?
3 years.
And then this one was 1.5, right?
Yeah, 1.5, 0.5. Remember she said, I don't know what's about the I don't know what she got that 0.5 for. So
no, but that's the thing with people when it's just like, man, you know, pointing out when people give like their stories and their timeline, just like, you know, how much time end up going by when you're making these decisions and you're attached to people. So
but what we don't want to admit, this is the thing, we don't want to admit, and society does this, right? When women clearly tell you what they want, and then we say, she wasn't in her right mind, she was just lusting. But when she had the guy that checked all the boxes, society standard-wise, she didn't want him.
Wait, real quick, guys. So Sister Ian says women get caught up in the prospect of validation through marriage. So
that's false.
Well, okay. I kind of somewhat agree a little bit because like
how?
But because well, here's the thing, right? If you're in a like okay, the moment like when she had that interaction with that dude, and she was already looking for that validation. She wanted that guy to tell her how pretty she was, and he didn't give her that validation. And since then, it seems like she was still kind of like chasing after it. Now, even though they're married, which that should be validating enough, but sometimes people are not satisfied, you know, and it could be something like mentally wrong with her, especially you could even kind of hear some of the conversations or whatever that mentally she's still not fully healed. But at the same time, now when you have a guy, now what message does guys who are trying to be good and then they're listening to this and they're regurgitating that, now guys will think that okay, they shouldn't give women validation. And I don't want to think that okay, when you're watching this type of stuff that we're reacting to, that we're telling you or training you guys never give women validation. But at the same time, there has to be a balance somewhere where it's like you find a person where your validation is appreciated.
Yeah,
real quick, just the reason why I agree with Sister IM's statement, if you can pull it back up, because the way like they even explain it, like for example, when she starts off the podcast, she's like, I've been engaged 2.5 times. So we heard other women. I think I forgot what we were watching one time. She was like, "Man, I've been engaged like 5 times." So it's almost like a bragging right for people. So, and also like a lot of people, man, it's almost like they want to get married for the ceremony to like what Sister I am saying, to like kind of please other people, but they might not really be into that person. But it's just like I need to get married. You know, the sisters are. Everybody's putting a little bit of pressure and stuff. So it's almost like this ceremony everybody's like attached to, all this symbolic stuff versus the responsibility and the duty. And then also, like I said before, it's just like, man, a lot of times with women, sometimes, you know, like if people are like, have you ever been married? But like, no, you know, but I've been engaged like 5 times or 3-4 times. So that's why I could agree with her statement.
Make sure you guys get the likes up for all this that we're doing.
But this is the thing, right? This is what you'll have to understand, right? And I think us men particularly are delusional. Because if you really, she told you, she basically laid out what she wants, right? The first guy, she didn't want. Right? The more he did right by her, the more she despised him. The second guy, or the guy or whatever, the 0.5 guy, whatever, who she was with for the shortest period of time, she wanted the most, right? Who she did, even after all the physical things that happened, even all the toxicity that he was going through, she accepted the ring. Okay, so she did not leave him because of the abuse. She left him because he wouldn't feel sympathy for her mom. She clearly said that. So
no, I'm not disagreeing on. I just want to make that clear. I'm not disagreeing on that part what you're explaining, because I mean, unfortunately, sad to say, it sounds like it does make sense from how you're articulating, Rufus, because the thing is, like, yeah, you're unfortunately tolerating a man putting his hands on you, a man that's also verbally abusing you, but it's like that breaking point where he's not even showing any sympathy or empathy or compassion for your mother. It's like now it's like it's the time to leave. But again, I'm glad that regardless of what happened, I'm glad that she made a choice to leave and not stay in that relationship, because she probably would not have been alive, you know, if you continue to be around with a guy that is dogging you like that.
Well, we don't know.
Like, a lot of time, man, I'm glad she's sharing the story, because a lot of times people, man, you know, like with all of us, we're like, if he said that shit, you should have been leave that motherfucker. That's a crazy statement when he was like, you weak bitch. And I just think, man, people got to get better at, like, man, you see a red flag or something, man, get up out of there and shit. So you don't have to ignore, you know, the rest of the stuff that comes. Because, like, if she's telling a story, like, that was pretty evident where, you know, all of us that's in the chat or on this panel, we're like, shit, if he said that, man, bounce. Like, that cat crazy. So I just wish people would just, like, take them red flags earlier so they don't have to deal with that, the brunt of those people and stuff.
But did she call the police? Does she have any police records? Does she have any police records? Any of this documented? Right? So I'm wondering, right?
No, we're just going off what she says. So like you said, there can always be two sides, but it's just like
one thing about it though, this is public records, right? It's always public records. That's how everybody knew how OJ was, right? So once again, right, we have a woman here who is giving us a fictitious, valedictorian story, which puts her in the right no matter how you look at it, right? But we don't really know if she made the first hit. Did she punch him, right? Or did he abuse her, right? She could, right? So she never really made the call because the 911 is available to every person in the United States of America, right? And we obviously know that women don't have a problem with using it. So with that being said, right, can we really believe her if she didn't use the resources that was available to her to get this rectified?
Sorry,
go ahead.
Quick question. I know you had the other two videos like in the chat.
Don't worry about them. We'll just stick with this video.
Stick with this
one. I would just say, man, like what you're asking, Ruthless. I mean, it's a good point, but it's just, to me, it's irrelevant because it's just like at the end of the day, we're just hearing her side of the story. Like you said, there's always two sides to everything, but I'm just saying, like, based on what she's saying, it's just like, hey, women or anybody that's listening to this, if a dude gives you a response like that, get up out of there, man. Like, it's just that simple.
Once again, right? All this feminism movement through equal rights and equality and protection, 911 is available to them. All the women abuse hotlines are available to them, right? So there is no excuse for her because she wasn't ignorant of these resources that was available to her. Why didn't she use them?
Yeah, people don't always operate the way they should, man. So you know, we go Monday morning quarterback, but it's just, man, we could move past that. I get it.
Or maybe she wants money, right? Maybe it's money.
Hold on, guys. Let's continue the video because I want to hear more of this.
Try and make it.
Oh, I know who she is now. I know who she's talking about. You know what she's talking about, right?
Tony Smith?
Ray Rice.
Oh, that was his best friend?
Remember they was on the elevator. That's what she's talking about when he beat her. But he played for Ravens. For the Baltimore Ravens. That was her on the elevator. And then she made a statement how she provoked him. She hit him first and all this stuff.
That wasn't Melyssa Ford. You're talking about, that was a different.
Huh? It's a different Melyssa Ford?
Yeah, that wasn't her, man. That was her.
Wait, it's two Melyssa Fords? This is her. She was with Ray Rice, right? Hold on, let me check, make sure.
Make sure you put the source out there. Yeah. I don't want to come out
that
shit now.
Coming over here with that fraudulent information.
Right.
But the reason why I said pause, man. Like what was his name? Tony Smith. I he spotted it off the jump. He was like, "Look, she talked about this fantasy. I got to put her in like a booty call territory off the rip." Because yeah, that's fucked up as hell. If somebody coming up to you that you might be going down that path with, and they like, "Hey, I had a fantasy about you and your friend." I mean, Tony better than me. I would have netted her at that point. I'm like, "Hey, look, this ain't gonna work out. I respect you. Keep it pushing."
I mean, Tony might be a freak too, allegedly.
Dealing with it. What's that?
He might be a freak too, allegedly. You never know. He probably enjoyed that type of moment. You talking about he was trying to arrange it? I'm like, I mean, bro, like, I understand. Look, selfishly, I understand. Like, if a woman I was with, one of a menage a trois, however you want to call it, and it involves with another woman, I'm like, okay, I will praise all the heavens for this, right? Like, that would be like my main squeeze right there. But you want it to be another dude? I'm like, look, no, I can't give that to you. You know, that is not how my sexual energy works. Being in another room with any guy to be involved into that. Like I said, that's why I put on my deuce signs, because you tell me that, I'm like, I might laugh with him too. But hey, my deuce finger would be out there. I'm sorry. She says that destroys a man's ego. That's just the ultimate red flag on my part.
She's a throw around.
Yeah, she is toxic. So that's a fact. Yeah, at times he would be like, he was like, look, a menage, we talk about another chick? Nah, I'm talking about a dude. His curiosity should have just shut off at that moment. He should have been like, hey, you know what? Let me give you this pound. You have a great life. Let me get up out of here.
Wait a minute, but you know, she dated over 15 guys in the industry, right?
Oh yeah, no, that definitely, man.
She's a throw around.
Yeah, but she telling the story. She toxic as hell.
She's a thought.
Yeah, damn right, certified.
So what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? She's telling a story as if she was this elite woman who held her chastity when she went over. I'm counting. I've got all the pictures here. I stopped counting at 15. Y'all want me to keep counting?
What?
Nelly, we keep going.
Damn. Okay.
We keep going. I'm talking about she was with over 20 guys. Easily. Yeah.
I did have the video where Cameron was like, where they were having that back and forth, and Cameron was like, look, man, I remember we was at the video shoot and you was in the bathroom getting bust down for like 2,000, and then I know she was with Benzino too. So yeah, she been out there, man. She's
got over 30 guys.
Damn.
I'm counting. I'm just counting like right here. We're at Cameron's in there. So what are we talking about? We're talking about a pass around. So maybe the best violence or whatever the violence was, why are you out here effing all these guys? And I'm here for you. He's trying to turn a throw around into a housewife.
Yeah, she wouldn't have got with the first guy. She was
for the streets. She was for the streets.
Damn, she got a lot of dudes on here. Hold on, let me.
Yeah, you see it too.
Yeah.
So why did we listen? So nothing she said is valid. Oh, I was 2.5. Oh, yeah, she didn't tell you about the other 40 guys she was sleeping with. Come on, man. She was a pass around. That's why she's still single.
Yeah, let's get back to it.
Come on, man. Man, I know y'all ain't holding this.
You sure that jerk?
Yeah, I put it in there. That ain't the best one, but yeah, I'm trying to find a better one. But we can get back to the video. Let me find a different one. Yeah, she been out here though, man. Because I've seen a couple of them. I'm trying to find one that's like, yeah, that's a lot of dudes on there.
A lot, over 40 dudes, easy.
But yeah, that's crazy. God damn,
easy.
Maybe he was just an anomaly. At one point,
I didn't know she was biracial.
Hey, that one football player she was telling the story on, I saw Quantum. That ain't confidence. That brother was stupid. Don't confuse confidence with suckerisms or stupidity. Yeah, that dude, he ain't had no confidence. That motherfucker was a weirdo.
Oh damn.
Cause she ain't get to the point where the why ain't work out. So obviously something happened.
Dude,
I guess we'll get to a part in a minute. Why?
She is a throw around. She's a thought. Period. Period.
When you get back to the video, yeah, I just wanted to stop that right there. I'm like, there ain't no confidence. That motherfucker, super simp.
Mm-hmm.
Does this thought just call her man this to be distrusted? That's why dude was tripping on her when she went to the fucking awards, right? Because she was out there thoughting. She was out there getting ran through hotel to hotel. That's why he came. And she was like, "What did you have sex with all these guys for?" She's like, "Just tell me I'm beautiful and you love me." Yeah, I'm telling you, man. She was a pass around. If you had a name, you was getting them things. Yeah, she was a celebrity whore, right? Anybody with a name and he was black, you was getting that.
Yeah, like her speaking on her childhood, man, and that's where I do think people do some damage and stuff, man, and that's why I said like earlier, like her not having no kids, it's a good thing, because like
that's why she packed her shit up when that nigga got her that ring. The first guy who was, no one can love you like I can love you, because he was trying to save her. Don't save them. They don't want to be saved, right? She like, oh hell no, I'm for the streets. I need to get out here and see what's out there, right? She already knew where she wanted to go. He was trying to, he saw that maybe the first guy she was with saw her potential, right? Like, man, she's kind of loose a little bit. So I'm going to give her everything and try to give her what she doesn't want to go nowhere else. And she denied that shit. She denied it. And she went out to the streets and put her thing down. Now she's on here talking about what she distrusts men. Who can trust her? Yeah.
Well, hold on. That was I was going to mention too, right? Because going back to the BET Awards, she before she pretty much like left out maybe a certain type of detail, but she did kind of hint it a little bit for our minds to wonder. She did say she was surrounded by a lot of, big black, or I don't know, a lot of big. We're going to say big black athletes.
Yes.
Yeah, right. So, and then when she mentioned the athletes, that's when she started jumping from maybe what could possibly had happened into now having a phone conversation with an angry steroid abuser who eventually started verbally abusing her to physically abusing her. Not to say that, hey, she called
man, man, why we keep going back to that incident? Like, let's move on from that, man, because it's just irrelevant. I mean, because
she's a hoe.
Obviously, she makes bad decisions, but it's just like, yeah.
But this is the thing, right?
We ain't got to drill on that shit. This is like, come on, man.
I know. What's the problem I have?
She's the same. Go ahead.
I will give her credence, right? I will give her reverence, right? If she came on and said, I was this type of girl and I did this and then I got into this, right? Then I would say, okay, at least she's owning her, who she is, right? But she's on here on a plight to really make the men look bad. Oh, you can't trust men, and this guy was abusive, but she didn't say nothing about her past. So she's not, what she's doing is trying to rebuild herself and give an excuse at 48 years old. Why ain't nobody wifed her? Because she didn't want to be wifed.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like but I like what she's what she's saying about the storyline of like, it makes sense. Like her not having kids and she was neglected, so she was pretty much looking for attention.
Okay,
out there, and that's why she was jumping around.
Once again, right? Listen, the ignorance of the law is no excuse for breaking it. Right? She know the difference between right and wrong. Right? She know the difference she had a guy in the beginning who kind of gave her the fairy tale type of guy. So she had the sample size. Right? A guy who said, I love you, and her parents loved him. And she left him.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, a lot of
talking
people,
about?
man, with like tracks, like, but I'm just saying, like, as far as like when she's talking about her parents and shit,
What
it's
they got
just
to do
like,
with
man, she
the
had
guy who was down for her?
what was that?
What they got to do with her leaving the guy who was down for her?
God, we ain't even talking about that. We're just saying like when she's as far as a kid, she just wanted attention, man. So, you know, typically people are gonna jump around when they want a ton of attention, man. That's her thing. Like you said earlier, it's just like, man, she can't settle down, man. She continuously she gets tired because eventually, man, people can't always give you attention. So
She
that's
want to
the
give it
issue.
away. She want to give it away like it's going out of sale. She's having to go into sales.
So like people like her, man, it's like when they don't get attention, it's like somebody might be at work, they might be burnt out. She's probably gonna take it as far as like neglecting stuff, and that's when she probably like start seeking and shit.
Yeah.
Melyssa Ford?
Let's continue the video real quick.
Huh?
Yeah,
Wanting.
with the mom or
I mean, just with everything, how she's breaking it down in detail. It's like, well, look, let me just say this, right? Because I know I should have paused it a long time ago in fair use, but I do applaud Melyssa for like speaking out on this subject so well, and it's so in her own ways being detailed about it and just being upfront. I think it is like kind of like a lesson to see that look, man, you have to deal with like whatever demons that you went through in your childhood. See, in the African American community, like we don't really like check in like when it comes to mental health issues, especially like in the early 90s and all that. And so I just want to encourage people, man, to really just pay more close attention stuff that you're going through right now, and just seek help. You know, being in relationships is definitely not going to be the sole answer to get your needs met. But again, this is kind of like the byproduct of trauma that has not really been dealt with. Salute to Uncle
But I think the issue, man, with a lot of stories and stuff, and that's what I was trying to get to in the beginning, where I was like, I get when people say the society pressures, but from what it sounds like, they might not be that bad, because I think a lot of times people tell us stuff to keep us on a tight, narrow path where you don't have to deal with a lot of the outcomes from like bad decision making. So because I get it, man, everything ain't for everybody, but I do think that deep down inside, man, unless you just on some serial killer type shit, everybody wants some type of relationship. I'm not gonna say marriage, but everybody wants some type of interaction with someone. So it's just like, I think sometimes people want to take that tough stance, like they don't want it. And I think if you acknowledge that up front and you figure out what type of relationship you need as an individual, and you recognize what good is, and you don't play around with all the extra shit, I think you will be in a better space. Because a lot of her decision making, honestly, it's just it's sad people got to go through some certain situations. So like we always said, man, we don't want to see nobody get beat or nothing like that. But
yeah,
a lot of this shit is like self-afflicted. You know what I'm saying? So that's the fucked up thing when people got to go on these journeys and shit. It's just like, hey, man, eventually you want to learn quick, so you ain't got to keep going through this shit. But people keep testing and playing around with these different things, and that's what happens. Before you wake up, you're like in your 40s and you're like, oh shit, So I think that's the biggest thing of the story, where it's just like, man, time just does not stand still. And if you make a lot of bad decisions, man, you do gotta, however them outcomes come, man, that's how you gotta deal with that shit. And it's not always gonna be good. So it might not be bad sometimes to take that advice and go on a certain path sometimes. Because I mean, it sounded like she was smart as shit. What she say? She was like a forensic scientist. So I think sometimes too, man, we always want to chase the most glamorous career that I think sometimes puts you in those fucked up environments. So with her, it's like, man, she could have went the other path and probably had like a stable career with, like Ruthless was even pointing out, where she ain't had to be out there in the streets and deal with all that type of shit. So I was pretty interested she breaking that shit down, because there's many layers to the story.
So once again, right? I know y'all heard about the Joy Taylor story, right? And I'm trying to really go into that.
Yeah.
So and this indictment is getting longer and longer and longer. See, and this is what we don't want to admit. The women in the quest to fight for resources and stability, right? We know that in life, men and women want to take the most easiest and shortest path to success. This is just a human nature, right? If you can get there, the easiest path to success is the easiest way that most people want to take. So because women are out here doing more, competing in the workforce on all levels, they are using the one thing and they're leveraging that thing to get the lifestyle and the things that they want, just their beauty and their vagina, right? This is what Melyssa Ford knew she had, and this is what Melyssa Ford was doing, right? With all these different high-end men, elite men with high incomes, celebrity status equals high income, high life, right? That's why she said the guy asked her to marry the rich guy. You know, before he could get the words out, she was yes. All she wanted was security. So this is what women do. It's a play on the ego and it's a play on power, right? And it's a play on leverage. She's leveraging what she got, her beauty and her looks, mixed with her probably sexual performance to, find some man who's in a great position to make her life easier, to get easiest path to success, right? Joy Taylor doing the same thing in ESPN, right? She got with the guys, went to get to the top. So this is what women do. This is how they're built, right? They will always, right? They will always be in survival mode when it comes to, I need to get mine, right? I need to get to the bag. And by any means, and this is where we're kind of different. We're more, we go to the extreme, we get violent, or we just stay in the middle. But women, their way is their body and their face, all that. That's what they get. That's how they obtain. So what we got Melyssa here is a woman who was in there selling herself for a lifestyle. That's what she was doing.
But I don't even think, because I agree with you on a certain, but I think some people like her and Joy Taylor, I just think, man, it's I don't even think it's the stability thing like she was trying to mention and stuff like that. I think it's almost like a game to a certain degree, like some excitement, because think about it. Joy Taylor, the first guy she was married to or engaged, he was like a MLB player. I think his net worth was like 8 million. The second guy she was about to be engaged to, Wes Watson, whatever, 16 million. So it's just like, man, the security thing, all she had to do was get with one of them guys, and they were both good guys, because the first guy, he's remarried and been married for all these years. So obviously he's marriage material. Wes Watson, I think he's in another relationship. So that's what I'm saying. They had the security there just even by latching on, where I think most females would be like, oh, I got a good man. He makes good money. I'm going with that. So I just think there's some disconnect with them where it's just like, even when they get what they say in the streets, the high value man, the dude with the money, they still ain't satisfied. So it's definitely something internal with them where it's just like, they're never happy, man. Because even Melyssa Ford, she's been in these rooms, and I know like dudes been hollering at her. So even the toxic ones, she didn't have to choose.
They did more than hollering. They did more than hollering.
Yeah. So it's just like, man, there's something that can't sasatisfy, man, and that's just the reality.
Right. Exactly. Thank you. You kind of agree with me.
Yeah, so, no, I agree with you. It's something internal within them that's broken.
You meet one guy, and I thought they're broke. No, they're not broken. Nor is it trauma. It's what they are trying to do to get to where they need to get to by any means.
But what I'm saying is broken, it's because, like, think about it. If they could get with a dude that's like got 16 million and your life's taken care of, the need to push for more, there's a sickness in you.
That's not broken, right? It's called being
broken.
It's called being greedy, right? This is everything.
But I'm just saying, 16 million, like you need more than that. Like that's what I'm saying. To get nothing, that you're broken.
No.
The fact that you can't recognize a good deal, you're broken.
No. That's not broken. That's called being greedy, right? Every human has a proponent of greediness, right? Some are greedy.
No, absolutely. But
so So now
to be that delusional with the greed.
Yes,
16 billion.
Most women live in a delusion, right? So once again, a delusion, an illusion is a deception of reality. It's not reality. You know what I'm saying? And most women live in this. So therefore, she in her mind, right? Like you said, 16 million. The guy has a decent lifestyle, but she sees a guy with a boat, a yacht. She's leaving the guy with just a Lamborghini. She's going to the guy with the boat, the yacht, and she's going to keep going and keep going. Because why? Her eyes will never be satisfied. This is a proponent of greed, which comes from the heart. So this is not a woman being broken. This is a woman who's trying not to be broke, right? She's trying to be set financially, right? This is all in about getting what she wants out of life. Is find her man who's going to take care of her, because obviously she don't want to do it on her own. So she's leeching on these men and trying to climb to the top by leveraging what she got until she gets what she wants. And then when she gets what she wants, she somehow overthinks it for some reason. She's just, oh, I'm bored. I'll take care. That was easy. That was too easy. I need to go somewhere else, find some new challenge. Yeah,
but I will agree with you if like they wasn't getting these dudes at this tier of money and then going back down, like say for like even Joy Acho wasn't on them level as some of them dudes she was about to be married to. So that's what I'm saying, man. They just there's never they're never happy, man. That's just the reality. So I agree with you. It's definitely greed, but just to be that delusional with the greed, because like you said, everybody has a little bit of it, but most people are like having intelligence with them. Like, damn, okay, you know, if I get with this person, they meet all these like check marks, and they got the bag, like I'm good. I done won out in life. So when you feel like you never won at life, and you're getting everything that most people would probably be like dreaming about. Nah, there's a disconnect with you.
But we see once again, right, is that women want what we want, right, and more. And it's no longer a, well, my husband, he's good, I'm good. If you be the man, because the first guy she got that Tiffany ring, he has some money, but that wasn't enough for her, so she wants more. So but it is a long quest for women to try to get to the level of men, and it's just not going to happen. They're going to always be valued by the man that they're with, and that's just the way the true hard fact. And they're going to have to accept that.
It's wild when people add commentary where it's unnecessary, and that shit is hilarious. All right, let's go ahead. We're gonna finish this video off. Yeah, let's go ahead and continue.
If the vast majority of us go looking for these as factors in why we choose somebody, I think a lot of the times, as long as he's a good provider, that's the biggest check mark. Does he look good? Is he presentable? Do we have some things in common? Does he plan on being a good provider? Do we both want kids? Do we both want to get married? These are the things that people ask themselves, and this is what helps them make their decision. But they find out years into the marriage that it takes so much more to make a marriage successful than just those things. One of the main things that I think is missing from a lot of people deciding on getting married is how much of a friendship have you built with this person? Because like outlasts love 1,000% of the time. Through the course of my career and just life in general, I have spoken to so many successfully married couples, and success means that they still like each other decades later. That's success. They still wake up and want to participate in this partnership. That is success. And that's what they say, that like is more substantial than love. And looking back on my relationships, I realized that that like was not high on my list of priorities. And that's probably the reason for failures. So before I sign off, I saw something on Instagram that I wanted to read today. It says marriage is the lowest paid form of sex work. Women are owed reparations. The people we lay with are the people who are most likely to kill us, which sounds really dark, but that's the reality we're living in. The reality is women have lost their lives in pursuit of men. Women have lost their futures in pursuit of love. I think we all need to really sit down and ask ourselves as individuals, what does love actually mean for me? And what in my life resembles that? Does the man that I've chosen resemble that love that I want and deserve? The traditional idea of love is damaging for women because it involves us being self-sacrificial in order to prove our worth. Men need to learn to find sustenance, entertainment, and sexual gratification outside of women because we don't owe men that. We live in a society where men assign women humanity and worth based on how attractive they are to them. Men need to learn to find sustenance, entertainment, and sexual gratification outside of women because we don't owe men that. That deserved a repeat. Thank you so much for joining me on this very personal episode. Anyways. But what I want to leave you guys...
She just ripped me in half. My God, she just destroyed us.
Nah, she destroyed herself. Ain't nobody kidnapped her, made her be no video vixen.
Did you just
she could have went to...
She said men don't even deserve sexual gratification. So all that shit she was talking, right? Talking about what she been through. But at the end, she brings this to say, men ain't shit. That's what she said.
No, but anybody agree with that? I mean, she could have chose the path to be smart. She didn't have to go down that path. Nobody kidnapped nobody. That's what I'm saying. It's a lot of this stuff be bullshit.
But you're missing it. You're missing the big picture. She's talked all that shit, right? To make her build herself up to claim victimization to what? At the end, she said, man ain't shit. So she's not even on your side. She's not even taking accountability for her actions.
Yeah, she pretty much did skip over that.
I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of rooting for her, man. Like when she was telling, like, you know, like all her drama, and again, like, you know, I still, like, you know, have some type of empathy for her, but yeah, you should start right there at the very end. So, but look, this was definitely like a great reaction, a good live. We had like at least up to over 24 people that tuned in. Make sure you guys get the likes up as well too. And thank you guys, man, for coming up, man, and giving me a piece. So shout outs to Rufus Truth. Shout outs to damn, I forgot the other guy name that came up in there, the new guest. But shout outs to Quantum Love and everyone else in the chat, and Sister I Am for giving your piece to it, your opinions and all that. So, and salutes to Sophisticated Jerk as well.
But yeah, that last statement, I see some people bigging that up, and it sounds nice. Like even the part she was like, well, you need to sit down with yourself and figure out love. It's like, y'all need to sit with some shrinks. You don't need to sit with yourself, goddammit. Because if you obviously make all those goddamn bad decisions, do you think you really need to sit with yourself? What the hell are you going to get out of that? You need to sit with a shrink. Figure out responsibility. You don't need to figure out like all these like versus love and all that.
Let's dig dive into
this, being self-centered. That's what you need to figure out.
She did all that, right? All that deep diving to make herself appear as a victim. Even Mem 3 was feeling sorry for her. Sophisticated Jackson, I'm rooting for her, right? And then at the end, right, she said, fuck men. Right? So that what she did was she was doing all that build up to a genius. This is what women do, right? Get you, oh yeah, she learned from her. Fuck men. She put all the responsibility accountability on men. She did not at the end she would have said, if she'd have said, you know what?
Pull that statement back up. We gotta see that one more time.
Yeah. That was
We're hold on. Let me go all the way back to the part that made me laugh the most. Right, was when she mentioned about reparations. That was so hold on. Let me just play that one more time. Just let that sink in for a bit.
The reason for failures. So before I sign off, I saw something on Instagram that I wanted to read today. It says marriage is the lowest paid form of sex work. Women are owed reparations. The people we lay with are the people who are most likely to kill us, which sounds really dark, but that's the reality we're living.
Women are owed reparations. I mean,
and man, my thing is, man, I hate a lot of conversations because we always go to extremes. I think men and women, but it's just like, man, there's a lot of cases where things are good, and it's just like, man, if you intentionally go out there and ignore red flags, man, that's a you issue, whether it's a man or a female, man. And it's like, man, you can't paint the dark side of shit, but man, there's a lot of people that's healthy, and there's people that always give people advice, but people always ignore them, blow them off, stop accepting your calls. You know how many people I call, or they'll call me up and they'll be like, man, let me give you the scenario. I break shit down to them. I give them all the red flags. They're like, I'm going forward anyways. Shit fails. So that's why I'm saying you have to take accountability for your actions, because not everything you was all ignorant. You didn't see shit. I would say probably like 7 to 8 out of 10 things somebody probably done told you some shit and you was just rebellious. So when you leave out that part, man, you are not taking no accountability. So yeah, this statement right here, that's what makes it bad, because it's just like, hell, we all saw the statement. If she was telling the story, it was like the guy and he talked to her like that, everybody was like, get the fuck up out of there. Like, you based it off of just attraction. Come on, man, that's a you issue. You could have went the brainiac path and do that. You didn't have to objectify yourself. So that's what I'm saying sometimes with people. It's just like, man, you can't go down a lane and then blame that on guys.
Yeah, I mean, it just sounds like just kind of tacky to even go through it. It's like, why even explain all that, and then you come to a conclusion that, well, in short terms, men ain't shit. Look, I know I ain't shit, but not all men are shit.
You don't get. It was a setup. She set you up, and she lured you in, and then she cut your head off in the end. That's what she did. I saw it all the way through, though. She didn't get me. I saw what she was doing. That's why when I lifted her out, oh, she a thought. She's just trying to make money. She's like queen maker, right? So she's just trying to make money off dogging men, right? So, but first she want to do is build it. Oh yeah, but look at this is an indictment. She indicted herself too, because she said the first man who gave her everything she wanted, loved her like she was supposed to be loved, right? And she took for 3 years, and she found the ring, and she said she packed her shit. She said, I packed my shit and hit the hills, right? So she's telling you she is the red flag, right? Because she had the guy. She had it right in the palm of her hand. Her mom loved him. Everybody loved the dude, but she didn't love him. So therefore, what she loved was she went after. Everybody knows when you go into the Hollywood life, what's that about? I don't care. That's red flag, spelled red flag, right? In capital letters. So she saw the humble life over here with this dude around her family, been chill. Or Hollywood, right? Well, we know everything comes with a price. She knows that. She ain't stupid. She's a model, right? She was on magazines. So she went for that. And now she's turning around and blaming men. She said marriage is the lowest form of paid sex work. Women are owed reparations. So what she said, nigga, is you owe her money for her hurt and her trauma. But you want to talk about she got trauma. Pay her. You owe her for that. That's what she's telling you. That's what she said.
Yeah, she's mad and stuff. But yeah, it's like, man, god damn, like, even within your story, man, like, it was like a lot of bad decision making. So
no. Send that check. Who's talking? She said you owe her reparations for her pain and suffering.
She better call back that first dude and try to work it out with him. That would be her reparations.
Let's go, baby. Get that.
She better get on that phone like, look, I fucked up. I've been drinking this cheap ass wine, and let's make it happen. But hey, go to the next slide that she said. I would.
Yeah.
Damn, they said marriage is the lowest paid form of sex work.
Sex work.
Yeah, that's some dark shit. If you think of that like that, yeah, y'all need to move to an island with just nothing but chicks.
Hey, Fifth Gator, she talking about you.
Hold on. What did Quanda say? Quanda said she's reading something she found on social media. Relax. Y'all act like she wrote this shit herself.
She cited like this is gospel though. That's what I'm saying. Like, man,
she read it, but she didn't have to post it. You know what I mean?
Man, I would have left this one out. You know what I'm saying? I would be like, nah. It's like we get you don't like marriage. This shit ain't your thing. I don't think you should be shamed for that. But goddamn, marriage is the lowest.
She wanted a GoFundMe page. Let's go.
But go to the next where she was the next slide. There was like a different where they had a message right after this.
Like child support or whatever. But anyways, let me go ahead and play it.
In. The reality is women have lost their lives in pursuit of men.
Press pause real quick.
Women have lost their futures in pursuit of love.
Next slide.
No, it's just this one right here. We're just trying to read that. But not what y'all think what would have happened if we would have been like Melyssa Ford? Like say like we were males in her life, brothers, cousins, and we're like, look, we don't think you should model. We think you should pursue the forensic scientist path. You know, you don't have to do this. What do you think her response would have been to us?
Say that one more time.
If say like we were Melyssa Ford's cousins, our brothers, whatever, the guys that's in her life, friends, and we were like, hey man, we think you should go down the forensic scientist path and not the model, man. You shouldn't be objectifying yourself. You know, all this stuff. What do you think she would have said to us if we were like, don't go down the modeling path?
You're misogynist. This is my life, my body, my choice.
Exactly. And that, you know, because it was funny. I was on another panel, and then most guys, we were talking to some females, and we were just like trying to tell them, like, hey, man, every guy has like multiple stories of like females in our lives that we were trying to don't mess with that guy. He's known as a player, and you know, a lot of times we get shot down. So that's why I'm saying sometimes when we have these conversations, we gotta be honest with. You know, there's a lot of guys that be sticking up for females and trying to guide them, and a lot of times some females be like, yeah, kiss my ass. I'm going down this path. I like this guy. So that's what I'm saying. People are just rebellious and they ain't listening to the advice a lot of times.
To be clear, but to be clear, right? A lot of times, and this is like just realistically, right? A woman, I'm just gonna use myself for example.
But to be fair, it's men too that's hard headed. So I agree with Dr. Quantum.
Yeah, yeah, but my personal experience, right? Like a woman will disregard the sound advice that you tell them. They'll ask you, they'll come to you first and ask you for advice. And when you give them advice that they don't want to hear, they're gonna totally disregard. But not only they're gonna disregard, but then they're gonna also insult your intelligence as well too. And then they're gonna be like, and look, guys, I'm not talking about black women, all right? Y'all should know this by now, right? Who I hang out with. But they talk about like, well, I'm strong, I'm independent, or whatever. So okay, take your independent ass and make your mistake, but don't blame me for it when you start making your mistakes and the out term just come out sour and start saying that all men is ish or whatever. That's all I'm just saying. But they put themselves in those situations, and yeah, we know guys put themselves in those situations when you're overly simping, when you're hanging around with when you're trying to please to the wrong type of women, you know what I mean? Versus someone that actually like you for you, but they just happen to be a little tad unattractive in your scale of things. So both parties, like y'all kind of fuck yourselves over, and then y'all want to complain about like either of these parties is not it for you. So
I think at a certain point, we just got to draw a line and be like, look, man, if people give you sound advice and you ignore it, just take the outcome. We don't want to hear no speeches and stuff like this.
So here's the deal, right? Mm-hmm. The first line of the reality is women have lost their lives in the pursuit of men, right? But we do understand the men that the women chase on a grand scale are the men with means and fame, right? right? They spend their resources to travel to the ends of the earth to chase after men with fame and fortune. So on a majority, right? Actually, 100% of women, let's take this straight, 100% of women, and this is pursue men at the highest levels, but they have to come with fame, right? Like the rappers, the athletes, whatever. Now, the average man out here, the regular working class, right? These women are pursued by them men, right? They don't chase the men no more. They don't chase them. Them men are there invisible. Now, do they have sexual relations with some of these men? Yes. They got to get their things satisfied while they wait for a little dirt to come available.
He said little dirt.
Right? But typically they are, not giving a lot of these guys sex at this point because they want to give the guys who can afford to pay for the sex. These are how the women are moving out here. That's why she said women have lost their futures in the pursuit of love. What the fuck do you love? Yourself, right? Self-love. So the thing that you're chasing is you, right? Remember how growing up you used to tell the little girls, watch out for those bad guys? Remember that?
Oh yeah, no, facts.
Most parents tell their little girls, watch out for them guys, right? Very few parents tell their boys to watch out for the evil women who want your money, who will take everything you got, right? So this is the thing, right? Is women are actually savagely, and they're hunters. They're hunting men's resources and what they can do for them. So therefore, you need to teach your boys, right? You need to teach your boys to watch out for her because she's a problem.
Hey, look, pull back up Dr. Quantum's comment. I think it was a pretty good one.
This one?
Men have lost the will to lead properly. They rather hang with the boys and cheat.
You would say something like that, huh?
I disagree with that. I think there's a lot of good people. I think there's good men, good women. I think really it's an attraction thing. I think that's what messes everybody up because I have this one friend, great guy. Even my wife be trying to put him down with some people like, hey, he's a good guy. He get no love. Everybody be like, well, he's nice. I see him as a friend and stuff. So I just think, man, that people ain't being honest what we really go after, like somewhat what Ruthless saying. I think it's some people are materialistic, then you got attraction. But I just don't think, I think there's a good pool of like dudes out there that got their shit together that be willing to lead, but they might not be the most attractive. And I think the guys do the same thing where, they'll overlook good women for like attraction and shit. I think that's what this shit just really boils down to.
I mean,
I know you are, Quantum. I just thought it was a good statement, though.
Even though she said she's somewhat, but I only agree with the troll or not. I only agree with like the first part of it. Oh, I'm sorry. Men, some men, not all men. Men have lost their way to lead properly, but then, however, it's like, how can you even lead when some women don't really want to follow? So
yeah, that's another dynamic.
To really make a conscious effort to make things go right anyway. So again, but it just it is.
You said something on there. That was the most profound thing you said. Something on there, right? That is.
You said that's the most profound.
Key, yes, because that is the key to this whole conversation, right? She said, "But men ability to lead. How can we lead when women have full autonomy?" Right? When they have feminism and meet all these things going their way so they can remove the men that they no longer want to follow. So a woman is in a full autonomy in any relationship that she's in. So therefore, any man that, this is why it's really not good to marry these days, or even give a major commitment, because women can flip on you at any moment, like old girl did, and chase their dreams. We just have multiple cases of women going on. What's Judge Mathis' wife filed for divorce after 50 years. So I need to be out here and about. I want freedom, right? So these women are looking on their Instagram, seeing things that aren't true. They're living to illusion, and they really believe this. They really fucking believe this. And so they get rid of their husbands, they're breaking up families, destroying families left and right, saying, I want to see what's out there. I know I can grow. And if I love myself, I'm going to find my person. And at the end of the day, they end up like her. And you get what they do? They blame it all back on us. It's man's fault. It's man's fault. They don't tell you.
My thing is this, man. If you want the choices, and I think choices is good, but it's like, man, you gotta take the thing with being an adult, man. When you make them decisions, man, you gotta take everything that come with it, man. Don't be putting it on anybody. I don't listen to guys when they be like whining and stuff about the choices they make. It, same thing with women. It's like, man, people gotta start becoming adults, man. Like, if you want them adult decisions, and like I said, you block out people trying to coach you through stuff. It's like, man, take that smoke, man. Don't try to then twist it and put it on somebody else and stuff. But all right, man. Yeah, I just wanted to check that last one so we could go ahead and start shutting down and stuff. But I think I am glad she told her story though. Yeah, she messed it up at the end, but I do think we need to start listening to some of this stuff because it could be a cautionary tale to a certain degree. Like, hey, you know what, man? I might need to maneuver a little differently.
You tell this to your son. This is what you stay away from. This is what you stay away from. This is a red flag, and don't do it because she will destroy you psychologically, emotionally, and she will look back on you like you don't even exist. And this is what's happening out here. This is what she's saying. She did all that, and this is what women do well. One thing about women, they're very crafty, right? They know that most people, if they act like a victim, walk like a victim, talk like a victim, everybody's going to automatically put them as a victim, right? And then in the end, it gives her room to say, these niggas ain't shit. So therefore, we're all thrown under the bus for her going out here, throwing herself around with all these men, right? And truthfully, she was getting what her desired outcome was to be a woman who gets seen with multiple men who are highly, fame and all this shit. She's making money off of it. She's rich and successful now. Stay away from this woman though. Do not marry a woman like this ever.
Hell no.
Yeah, not unless she's offering some bread. But anyways, though, thank you everybody for tuning in to Knowledge Relationships Toxic Tuesdays. Damn, I forget like Tuesdays. Don't wonder this shit was so toxic. But yeah, okay, now it's some other toxic atmosphere all over. But anyways, y'all, thank you for tuning in, man, to the network. It was definitely a pleasure. Whoever the guest that's coming up, sorry you guys, it's a little bit too late. But thank you so much. Anyways, tune in next time for our next reaction, regular reviews on Knowledge Relationships on Tuesday. I'm sorry, either Saturdays or Sundays, and then we'll catch you guys again next time, man. So later, you guys. We are out. Peace.
All right, peace.
Sorry for 1 second. I gotta cue the music off. There we go. All right, later, y'all.
Knowledge and relationships.